All right, folks. I believe I'm live. Okay, I believe we are live. So I had to come back and do the stream later because my son wasn't having the easiest time trying to go down to bed. I felt bad for the little guy. My wife, his mom is sick, so I've been with him for the most part, and he was having a hard time going down for his nap, so I had to jump in and help him out. But yeah, I'm gonna start this thing from the top. Really, just trying to go through and talk about some of the Premier League games and some of the good stuff that we had from the weekend. So first off, right? I mean, this community. It's really about welcoming all football fans to the gift of football, right? We want to share our love for the beautiful game, and we do that by talking about it. So, I want to review a few games, right? I'll do this again next week on Monday. Um, I tried 10 o'clock Eastern time, but it looks like 3 p.m. We'll see. Maybe it is the better one. So we'll do Liverpool versus Newcastle. We'll talk about Madrid and then the Man U and Fulham game, which is like that was my game of the week. I am a Man U fan. You can see the Real Madrid. You can see the Real Madrid scarf in the back there. I'm also a Madrid fan. Although I don't love what's been happening with the club since they let Xabi Alonso go. I just don't like how the players are moving and doing things like that. I'm just gonna say, um, welcome in, just in case somebody joins in and want them to feel a little welcome into the chat here. So let me actually open this up on my cell phone so I can kind of keep up with the chat too while I do this. Okay, so let me put this. I'll put this up here. So what I'll do, right? I'll start with the Liverpool game. That was a really good game. I loved watching it. I love Florian Wirtz, so I really wanted to see how he played. But as I was mentioning earlier, right, going into the game, with Kanate and his father, it seemed like his father passed away and he was away from the team for I don't know, maybe a week or two, to be with his family and trying to figure out all that stuff out. Which, dude, it's always tough, right? Like it's always tough. Let me see. Liverpool versus Newcastle match reaction. That's the first thing we're doing. Yeah, that's always tough, like when somebody has to go through those losses, especially when it's somebody as close as, your parents. I'm grateful. I haven't experienced that yet, but it's sad because it's one of those like inevitable, one of those things you can't get away from in life, right? And it's always hard when you hear about somebody going through it, but it was kind of refreshing to hear him. After the game, he talks about Arne Slot just basically giving them the go of, hey, don't try to rush anything back. You can take the time and be with your family and mourn and do all that stuff. But for him, it was, the guy wanted to be out there, and understandably so. When I heard it, I thought maybe, you never know. Maybe that's his way of kind of coping with the fact that he just lost his dad. I don't know the how close his relationship with his father and stuff like that, but when you've dedicated so much stuff to a game like this, to a passion of yours, I can imagine that it's kind of it's what helps you get through some of the hard times, right? And so I think all the kudos to him. I thought he played very well defensively, and then obviously finishing off with their last goal of that game. And you could see his teammates getting really excited for him and getting excited with him, and it was nice. And him getting emotional at the end there. It was just the perfect kiss of a game for him and for Liverpool, honestly, because you know one of the my son's coughing in the background. One of the other things too that I was talked about going into that game is potentially Arne Slot being in trouble if they lose because of what their form had been like in the Premier League, right? And look, I'm always like for me, I'm always very excited and I root for new coaches, right? Like even the Chelsea guy right now, like I didn't really know much about him. I forget his name right now. And I remember when he was linked with Chelsea, and I saw dressing room speech that he gave, and for me, it's like, fresh start. You want to be excited for people, right? Like that's how I am. I like to be excited for people when they have their fresh start. So for me, Arne Slot coming in last year, winning the Premier League in his first year, and I'll be honest, I thought, this year would be like this season would be the true season of test for him, right? Because he's coming in, and Jurgen Klopp was, there, and that team. You kind of, I don't know, you kind of get the sense that culture was already set, and it was more so of him just riding the wave of what Jurgen already had established there, right? So, you kind of get that sense, and it, naturally, then this year would be like the true year where, okay, let's see what this guy has. So for me, new coach, new environment. I want him to do the best he can. Although I am a Man U fan. Like, look, man, I'm a fan of a lot of teams, but I don't necessarily hate on other teams, except for when Arsenal scores from a corner kick. I don't love that as much, but if I'm being honest with myself, if that was my team scoring like that and winning like that, I'd have no problem with it. So, it is what it is. But another news heading into the game, right? Florian Wirtz. I mean, it's funny because I remember when he first got to Liverpool and the amount of slack that this guy was getting for apparently he just wasn't worth he wasn't worth the amount of money that they paid for him. And I actually want to see how much they paid for him. Verts, Liverpool contract. I want to see how much they actually ended up paying for him. Okay, so yeah, it was a 5-year contract, $156 million. So he was making 20 to 22 million. I guess this is euros or pounds, whatever. Annually, I mean that's pretty good money. But people are giving him slack, saying like, "Oh, he's not Premier League fit and not fit, but just wouldn't live up to the game in the Prem and all that stuff." But the guy's like, he's amazing, man. He's amazing on the ball. Like I found out about him. Well, I think most people found out about him when he was at Bayer Leverkusen, and watching him play, he's so smooth on the ball. It's just like it's like he's gliding with the ball. You can't really take the ball away from him. He's the guy is so good. He's one of my favorite players. Whether he's on Liverpool or not, he's just one of my favorite players. So I love watching him, and going into that game, I was very excited to see what he was gonna do, and how he was gonna not necessarily take over the game, but the impact that he was gonna have. I felt like he would definitely have an impact, and he's been having a good impact recently, right? I think they said he scored. I think he scored six and assisted six recently. Like, I forget what it is, but he's on a really good run right now, and I'm happy for him because yeah, I think him adjusting to a new league, going into a new country, moving with, I'm sure probably moving with his family and all that stuff, and English is a second language, and all those things. He's German, so I think just being happy for the guy, and wanting him to succeed, and he's a player that I think is really, really, really talented. So I really want him to do well, and boy, did he do well. So we'll jump into that. Oh, and Mo Salah, I gotta be honest, I like Mo Salah. I really like him. I think he's a really he's an amazing talent, obviously. But watching him recently, something is off, right? Like, and I know that there's been talks about him and Arne Slot not being on the same page, and him being benched, and maybe his confidence had been shot and all that. But something definitely did change, because even watching that game against Newcastle, like, there are certain things that players will do when they're full of confidence, and you can also tell when they're not full of confidence. And Mo Salah, for one reason or the other, I mean, you could tell the guy is, whether he's in his head or I don't know, something's not right with him, and it shows. It just shows. Like, he's not as threatening. He almost, I know he's a righty, but he almost kind of looks like he has two right feet, like both his feet are like weak foot. Like it's not that bad, but I I don't know. Something's off. Something's off, and I hope whatever it is, he figures it out pretty soon because he's pretty amazing. And yeah, I kind of want to see him do well. So we'll talk about Liverpool some more. Yeah, let's talk about their. Yeah, how about we'll jump into kind of talking through the game itself, and they're playing at Anfield. Lovely setup, lovely arena, night game at Anfield. It was kind of nice at the 20th minute. I love when they sing and honor Diego Jota, and that's really cool to see. And hopefully they keep it for the whole season. They do honor him for the whole season. Maybe they came out and said that they will actually keep it for the whole season. Let me make sure my laptop's charged actually. So yeah, Liverpool started. They played the 4-2-3-1. Honestly, one of my favorite formations. You know, I think it is my favorite. It's not one of my. It is my favorite formation. So McAllister and Gravenberch. I don't know, if McAllister is like a true six, and maybe he's like more of an eight, and then Gravenbach was like kind of holding back a little. It was hard for me to see his true position during the game because, yeah, it was the game took a long time to settle. Honestly, like the first 20 minutes, it seemed like nobody could get anything going. Right, it seemed like they kept describing it as a basketball game, and it felt like that. It was like turnover after turnover. Nobody really was getting settled. Somebody I really like Newcastle is Sandro Tonali. Honestly, I think Tonali is a great talent, and I think that's my son in the background. I think he's an amazing talent. I grew up an AC Milan fan because of my dad, so it was always kind of like, man, like why we just let these guys go, and we let them go like when they're like in their prime, or they're entering their prime, in which they call AC Milan a farmers club, right? They get rid of the good people and just make the money off of it. I get it from a business side, but as a fan, it always sucks because you don't get to see the guys that you think are really good. Yeah, I don't know if anybody saw Allison's. Well, he kind of had, it was like in the first 20 minutes. The ball was going toward him, and he kind of had semi possession of the ball, and but he took a while to get the pass off, and Gordon kind of slid in, which it was called a foul, but in my eyes, like he's got to play, like Gordon's got to play that. It was kind of so inviting that it's like, come on, like if you're gonna invite that kind of pressure, you want a player to try to take advantage of that, and which he definitely tried to do, which I thought was really great. Yeah, but it was real end to end stuff that game. It was honestly I didn't see I didn't see that result coming just because of how the game was going. And yeah, when Barnes hits he hits the post on the free kick, that would have been a beautiful goal if he was able to complete that one. It was looking really nice. I mean, he had beautiful curve on it. Yeah, he beat the goalkeeper, everything, but yeah, couldn't beat the post. I guess just that's as close as you can get to scoring a goal, and that's the closest you can get to being on target or not being on target, I suppose, because you hit the frame. But yeah, it was an interesting first half. Nothing. I don't know. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot in the first half that. I mean, once the goals started coming, of course, things started to shift. But it was just, you got the sense that these guys, they were trying everything they could to settle things, but no one really had a good grip on the game. So yeah, and I thought like I thought yeah, of course Florian Wirtz. I mean he played excellent game. Um, and yeah, don't get me wrong. You know, both teams had their chances. Early on, in my view, I think Newcastle kind of had they had more um, they had more pressure and they looked more threatening. Then there was that Ekatike chance that showed up. It was funny watching that because as he gets into the box, you're like, oh, he's gonna power this through. He's gonna power this through. It's gonna be 1-0. But you see the attempted cleverness in his eyes, right? Wanting to try to go over the keeper and try to chip it, which I mean, don't get me. It would have been nice if, but the keeper never really came out that far, and I think the distance he was way too close to try that, but nonetheless it was a try, and then not too long after that again on a non-stop back-to-back, Gordon gets the ball, and it's one of those. I think it's his first goal from open play this season, is what they said. It's one of those goals where it's not necessarily like it's like just how you drew it up type of thing. It's more of the nature of that game because it was so back and forth. You just knew at some point something was gonna open up for someone, and yeah, in the 35th minute, something opened up for Gordon, and he hits that. He strikes it well. Don't get me wrong. He still has to beat Kirkez and then beat the keeper. And Allison, obviously, Allison's a great keeper, and you can tell Allison probably sees it a little bit. Maybe slightly late, but he does well. He does well to score that. But yeah, the game was so open at that point. It was just like that was bound to happen. That was bound to happen. Yeah, that was kind of nature of the game, and he gets another chance not too long after that. I mean, almost like a very similar area of the field to try that shot, but of course that wouldn't get stopped, and but yeah, but the openness continues, right? Like the back and forth really does continue. And until Verts does, magical stuff and gets the ball to Ekatike. Man, I'm telling you, Florian Wirtz, he's I don't know what's a good comp for him. I mean, I can't say he's Messi. It's hard for me to compare guys that are righties to Messi. Like it's just like they just don't move the same in my eyes. But Florian Wirtz, I mean, I don't know. You know what? He reminds me of like a Pedri or what's the other guy, or Gavi. Like he kind of moves like that. He moves. Yeah, those guys, they move very similarly. Always in control. It's kind of like you can't really take them off the ball, and that's what he does. He swirls through the defenders and just slides it right into Ekatike's path. But it seems like those two guys are getting along really well. Yeah, so they both came in at the same time, so that must be cool for them to be assisting each other in that way. And they show Isak in a I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if he's hurt or something, but you know they paid a lot of money for him, and Ekatike has just been balling. And to me, when they were when there were talks that he only wanted Liverpool, and Ekatike was like playing really well, even like coming out the preseason. I was like really, like why do you want to go to Liverpool? Like you're not. It's not like you're walking into a situation where you're gonna be in some ways like not the clear number one. Sure, you might have the biggest, the bigger price tag, but I don't know, man. Like Ekatike is he came the ball, so I was kind of surprised by that, and yeah, I mean he's been balling, so that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting, and I'm sure with Liverpool being in all the competitions that they're in, and with Champions League football and all the domestic tournaments and all that stuff, I'm sure they'll get plenty of opportunities for all of them to play. But Ekatike, his second goal was sublime, right? It's like it's just Now that's confidence, right? That's a player full of confidence. That the way he scored that second goal, there's just no doubt about how confident that guy is. He's in form. He's like in his mind. There's no way he's not scoring, right? And I remember like sometimes I remember I was practicing penalty kicks one time and the guy who was playing keeper, mind you, he was younger and stuff, but he had asked me, he's like, oh, like how do you keep scoring from these penalty kicks? And I just told him I just don't miss. Like it was that simple. It's almost like you get to a mental state where you just don't believe you can miss. Like you just like to the net is so big, right, to you because you're just full of confidence that the net is so big. Like in your mind, it doesn't matter who's in net, I'm scoring, and that's kind of what it looks like with Ekitike. That's what it looks like for him right now. Which I mean, hey, kudos to him. He's balling for them. So yeah, he could have gotten a hat trick, but yeah, he played amazing game. Like really, really fit that jersey. Like he was wearing that jersey, and he fit it well. But yeah, like looking at Salah, yeah, just a guy who's short of confidence right now, without a doubt. Definitely short of confidence, and I'm sure they'll figure it out. And I'm sure he'll figure it out. He's world class, so I'm sure he'll. But oh wow, I don't know if I actually, wow, I think I missed this open net miss, not open net, but this miss by Akatike in the 50th minute to get his third goal. He just goes wide. Yeah, that might have been just because the net just seems so big to him. Anthony Elanga, that guy's so fast, man. I think he's such an interesting player. Because I mean his speed is definitely his number one talent. I mean number one asset. But yeah, no, he causes problems. Yeah, he definitely causes problems, and so yeah, I'm looking here. Yeah, 60th minute. Oh yeah, what a save! Yeah, that save. And Allison knew nothing about the offsides, right? They end up calling offsides, but he knew nothing about that whatsoever. So for him to make that save, was just, yeah, that's just amazing. Like I mean, that's why you're world class, right? Like that's why you get paid the big bucks. And then Vert's goal, oh man, so smooth. The guy is just so smooth. That's what I gotta say about him. He's so smooth, so confident. It's just, yeah. He just passes it into the back of the net. I mean, like he just places it perfectly. The touch catches it well, and Mo Salah, he gets the assist, which that's the thing for Mo, right? Like maybe he's not scoring the goals, and honestly, I don't know how many goals he's scored recently, but he's getting assists, right? Like that was just the technique on that goal, man. The technique on that goal. It's just, yeah, it's gracious. It's so graceful. Yeah, like he just, it's kind of like poetry in motion, right? That's probably the way to describe it. It's like watching fondue fall, like from like melted chocolate just fall. It's just smooth, and it just, and it yeah, I don't know. It's just amazing. Oh yeah, and then they go on this counter, and yeah, yeah, that was the, it was a beautiful pass by Verts. I mean, he lays it out perfectly, perfect amount of pressure on the ball, and then Mo just, you could, he's on his weak side, but the angle's tightening up on him, so he kind of has to take it with his left if he's gonna have any chance. But again, like I don't know, I think a confident Mo, like at the very least, maybe gets a penalty out of that. Like I really believe that. Like a confident Mo is he like he's getting a penalty out of that. Like it's not going to be a goal kick, right? I think that's the difference. You see moments like that, those are the difference makers because I mean, look, they go on to win it anyways, but yeah, it's just you just feel that he's definitely capable of more. But yeah, then the tackle by Byrne, as I think it's just a frustration tackle, 87th minute and all that stuff because I think Kirkez is. I mean, whoever it was that he tackled was definitely, or maybe it was Curtis Jones. I don't know. He was definitely out of play, but um, yeah, but yeah, he tackles him, and off that corner is when Kanate has his first shot um, to potentially be able to get a goal, and he hits it pretty well. Honestly, for a defender, he hits it quite well. So it was just tough that he didn't make that. But then, yeah, he goes and gets another corner kick. Keeper muffs it, falls perfectly to Kanate, and it's just it's not the prettiest goal, but it's heartwarming, right? I mean, the guy is he doesn't score many, but to be able to score one, at the on the back of what has been clearly a very oh wow, I didn't even see this. Allison, he ran all the way from his goal to go celebrate with Kanate, which kudos to him. Um, yeah, kudos to him because that's just you just it's. I think it's one of those you just don't know. You don't know what to say, what to do, and we celebrate birthdays, right? And we prepare for births and all that stuff, but rarely do we. But yeah, so that was the game. Liverpool wins. They win 4-1. Ekitike with the brace, Verts with an assist and a goal. Kanate, of course, with the final goal. But Gordon opens things up, and maybe at that time, you would think that maybe Liverpool would go and run with it, but that's just not what happened. Newcastle would go and run with it, but that's just not what happened. Liverpool comes back and they storm in. My play of the match was definitely Florian Wirtz. I just think he's there's just nobody like him on that field. He separates himself very clearly when he's on that field, and it's just great to see. And I can't wait to see more of him in the Premier League. So yeah, Liverpool now they're in sixth place, although I think they jumped to fourth, and then Man U played and won. So now they're back in sixth place, but their form has not been great in the Prem. So I think that's part of why there's a lot of people calling for Arne Slot's job and calling for his, for them to do some sort of review, I guess, because they drew three, lost the last one, and then of course they won this one, which is a pretty big win for them. But I think they won in Europe though. I think they won in Europe, so I think that kind of slows things down a little bit. At least he's winning in some areas, but Newcastle in 11th place. You almost want to say like, man, like 11th place for Newcastle because they have some talent. In my eyes they have some talent. Although today I saw and heard that Sandro Tonali's his agent is trying to force a move to Arsenal, which I'm like, bruh, okay, like I don't know if Arsenal needs any more help, but I mean, if they're gonna go for the title, I think Tonali's gonna help anybody, but I wish Man U would go for him. In my Man U career mode, I have Sandro Tonali playing the six for me, so I wish Man U would go for him. That'd be really cool, but yeah. So apparently that, but yeah, to my point, like the Premier League is so bunched up. I mean, really from 7 to 13, things are kind of like wide open. I mean, the gap is 5 points. Even if you jump to Liverpool at six, the gap is 8 points, which isn't crazy. So, yeah, no one's really running away with things right now. Even, I mean, Arsenal, they're 6 points ahead, but yeah, it's not. I don't know that there's no clear runaway right now. Yeah, Liverpool's next game's against Man City, which is a game I'm looking forward to. I'll talk about that at the end of this stream. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that game. But yeah, the stats on the game: Liverpool won in the total shots, shots on target, possession. They won that. More passes. Pass accuracy is about the same. Yeah, more corners for Newcastle and less fouls for them. But in the end, yeah, Liverpool just yeah, they got the better of them. So yeah, that's it from that game. And after that, I'm gonna jump into. I'm gonna call here. I don't know who this is. Um, I'm gonna jump into. Yeah, I'll have to call whoever this is after. I'm gonna jump into the Real Madrid game. Real Madrid, as you can tell, the scarf's in the back. I love Madrid. I really do. Um, why I love them? So it actually started when Robinho first went to Madrid. Um, when he first went to Madrid, I oh I'm distracted because I see who's calling me because they're leaving a voice message. Yeah, I think I'll just call them after this stream actually. So, yeah, it was yeah, so I started liking them because, Brazilian guy goes to why do I care if Brazilian guy goes there? I'm from Haiti and the country's kind of split between Argentina and Brazil. My side of the family kind of grew up being Brazilian fans or Brazil fans, so I became a Real Madrid fan as a result of that as well. So they've kind of been, on the back of my mind as a team to support here and there. But it's they're interesting right now, and I guess it's always been like this. And because I was kind of, I was younger and didn't really get into the details of soccer that much, that I didn't realize some of just how the game is and the culture around certain teams and culture around Real Madrid and all that stuff. I have not loved going into game. I have not loved all the drama around the team. Right? I mean, like the whole Alonso thing, Xabi Alonso getting sacked. I mean, or him mutually agreeing to part ways. I mean, who knows the full details of that? But it just was not a great look because you could tell the players didn't really respect him. I remember, I think it was during the preseason. Yeah, I think it was a preseason match. They were like on the U.S. tour, and maybe they were in the U.S. So I forget. But I saw they were like in a huddle, and Xabi Alonso was speaking to the team, and you could tell that some of the biggest names on the team just not really giving him any sort of attention. Like they're not really paying attention to him. You could tell like he was just a voice there, and there was like a clear sign of lack of respect in my eyes. I'm just gonna say, yeah, we're doing Real Madrid now. Real Madrid match reaction. Yeah, clearly a little bit of sign of disrespect from the squad. Not really wanting to listen to their coach. I mean, it's kind of weird to see because these are professional guys, a professional team, and Real Madrid is arguably the biggest club in the world. I think the most accomplished club in the world for sure. But it's just strange things. And yeah, it's funny because I've been reading Carlo Ancelotti's book, Quiet. I think it's Quiet Leadership, or it might be Quiet Leadership or something like that. And he talks about his spells at Real Madrid, and it's interesting. There's definitely some stuff there about the president and how how he runs the club and the kind of pressure that's there, and people will say that the players are indispensable at Madrid, but the coaches are very dispensable. So very interesting. Nonetheless, they have. I mean, the best players in the world go play for them, right? I mean, that's kind of the appeal. That's a cool thing, and yeah, Mbappe's form has been amazing. I mean, he's just been. It took, to be fair, it took him a little bit to. It took him a little bit to come into himself, when he first got to Madrid, right? Like there are some games, and I remember Ancelotti saying like, it's gonna take him some time to adjust to the culture, and that's true. It did take him some time, but boy, when he figured it out, he figured it out. And right now, he seems like somebody who has figured it out. Um, so yeah, we'll go through this. Wow, we're already almost 40 minutes into this one. But yeah, I didn't actually see the full game, but I did catch some of the highlights from the game, and yeah, it's just Real Madrid. This was mentioned in the game that Real Madrid just they don't play defense, and I mean this was even before Xavi Alonso. This is one of the reasons why. This is dating back to last season, actually. One of the reasons why I was excited for Xavi Alonso to come in is because I thought tactically they'd be stronger, right? That they would defend, they'd press, and all this. And Xavi Alonso was bringing that kind of mentality and that kind of approach to the game, but obviously it didn't stick. I think some of the players, some people had a lot of issues with him, and so um, that didn't obviously last that long. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, but defensively, yeah, they're not. Real Madrid just reminds me of what it was like growing up playing soccer as a kid, right? Nobody ever wants to play defense. It's like I just want the ball, right? I just want to get the ball. If I'm tired, I'll be tired, but once the ball's at my feet, I'm no longer tired. It's kind of how Real Madrid plays. It's so funny because I mean, honestly, it's kind of how a lot of people fall in love with the game. You kind of that's how I fell in love with the game. It wasn't for playing defense that I fell in love with the game. It was definitely for attacking people and getting goals. But yeah, so that's the Madrid way, I guess. But Vinicius Junior, that first goal, that is, it's like sorcery. I mean, the way he scored that, like, it's it's that's not supposed to happen, right? Like, it's not. And those are the type of goals. I was just talking about Florent Verts earlier. Those are the types of goals that when you see it, you're like, you didn't see it coming, right? Like it was unpredictable, and that's why I say sorcery, right? Like you just didn't see it. Like he kind of made it happen out of nowhere, because technically when I mean, look, I'm no body psychologist or whatever, physio, um, you know, whatever it's called to master the body. I'm not that. I don't have those degrees. But I know when your body's shifting, to the opposite side like that, you sort of need to rebalance yourself before you're able to take a shot like the way he did. But he sort of like midway through of rebalancing himself, hits it beautifully. I mean, like he just hits it just right, kisses the top post, and goes. Like it's just that. That's why look. That's why he gets paid what he does, because he can do stuff like that on the biggest stage. Don't get me wrong, right? Like, as somebody who played soccer growing up, like I believe that there are players that can do stuff like that, that aren't playing for Real Madrid, for example. But it's like, to do that when you're playing for Real Madrid, and to do that on the biggest stage, like to do that in front of whatever 70,000 fans or 100,000 fans, however many people are watching, that's that's next level, because it's skill, but it's also like that's a mentality type of thing, right? And so that's what Vinny showed, and I thought it was, yeah, just peak peak Real Madrid type stuff right there. That's what that goal was. Um, but their offense, yeah, they have great offensive players. Obviously, Adegula is that guy is so good. He is so good. He's so shifty. I'm excited for him, man. I think, he's one of those young talents, but like obviously like bright future, and you just hope. I mean, I don't know. I feel like at a club like Real Madrid, sometimes like really young talent can. Well, they don't go to waste necessarily, and maybe I don't know. Maybe somebody would make that argument, but it's just because there's so much world class young talent that comes through those doors. Sometimes it's cutthroat, right? Like for those young guys, like for example, like Endrick, right? Like he goes to Real Madrid, massive talent, then goes on loan to Lyon, right? And he's been killing it at Lyon. Like I saw he had a hat trick the other day. But I think that's what happens when you're that, you're a club like Real Madrid, and you just players will sign up to come to you for free, right? Just like Trent did. But he's a really top player. So yeah, I love watching him play, and yeah, he was one of the guys that I think did really well when Xavi Alonso was the coach. He kind of came alive under Xavi Alonso, and I think he definitely had the trust of Xavi Alonso, so that helped a lot. But yeah, um, yeah, Rayo Vallecano. They weren't afraid. I think they felt like they could get something going against Real Madrid. Like they were not shying away from attacking Madrid and trying to make the most of their chances, which kudos to them because yeah, to be fair, Real Madrid. I mean, yeah, Real Madrid definitely has a lot of gaps in the field, but I think it's because you have a lot of offensive minded players playing. But yeah, the Vinny, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with Vinny when he's on the pitch. Um, but that pass by Brahim Diaz to him to set him free, which I don't know why he goes down early. I think he had, you know, yeah, I don't know, some of those Madrid players, some of the reactions that they have on the field. I love them, but sometimes I'm like, okay, guys, come on, just get up, like like just looking for a foul and looking for a penalty. I've never been that kind of player. I mean, I also didn't play professional, so maybe if I got to that level, maybe I would become that type of player. But I've never been one to fake being tackled and stuff like that, just so I can get. That's just I don't know. Yeah, it's not my style. But yeah, their tying goal was peak Real Madrid flop on defense because when that ball comes across to a mini, I mean it's a mistake by him. He's kind of waiting for the ball to get to him, and he's waiting for him to get the ball and probably just possess it and pass it back through the field, but the Rayo Vallecano. How do you say that? Let me see. Rayo Vallecano. Their players just heads up play by them to just I don't even know who that guy is, but heads up play by him to run across it and not give up on it. And he was definitely just more hungry, and he kind of goes untouched, which is it's so interesting because I guess yeah, I was gonna say like him coming across like that, you would at least expect Chouameni to like foul him because if you don't know that the player's coming and you're going to play the ball, maybe you accidentally clip him. But Chouameni's reacting so late tells you that he wasn't even like he was just walking and waiting for something to happen. So, um, I think. Oh no, that's not the red card. There was a red card in this game, and it was a brutal challenge. I mean, that guy, he deserved to get the red card. To be fair, yeah, and I that yellow card against like the guy that went to tackle against Valverde, I think it was. I don't think that was. I guess it was a reckless challenge, but he gets nothing on the guy, and And I in my eyes, it kind of looked like he pulled back a little bit, but whatever. So they get the yellow. But yeah, no, Real Madrid is still a threat on the offense. They're a big threat. But to be fair, I mean, I'm just gonna call them Raya. I mean, what is it? Is it Rayo? Um, yeah, I'm just gonna call them Rayo. Big ups to them because they never really kind of gave in to Real Madrid. Like, I need some water. Yeah, I need some water. Give me a second. My throat is dry. Um, yeah, talking this much, it's like, yeah, your throat gets dry. But yeah, they never really gave in to Real Madrid. They fought. They fought, and I think they could have. Thank you. They could have. That game could have ended very differently. Yeah, I think the game could have ended very differently. So, well, not very differently, but it could have ended differently. But yeah, that pass by Arda Güler and Mbappe just. I mean, to be fair, he does really well initially to get the ball past the goalie, which let me just say this. To play the ball the way he did around the keeper, you have to be really fast to even think to do that, right? Like I would only think to do something like that if like my fitness is like that at its peak. I'm not trying to go all around the keeper and like out sprinting him like Mbappe tried. Well, not tried. He did. Um, but obviously Mbappe is like one of the fastest players in the world. So, um, but yeah, it's just you feel for the guy because he does end up getting his goal at the very end. But he it was a great chance for him and he came very close. I mean, hit the post and you could see what he's trying to do, which it's always going to be tough on his weaker foot. But you can see what he's trying to do because he sees the Rayo players, tracking back. So for him, it's like, okay, let me try to power this through, but also get some elevation in it. Well, I don't know if he actually tried. I don't looking at it. I don't know if he intentionally tries to get height on that one. I think he just tries to power it, and because he's on his left, and although he sees the players coming, I think because he's on his left, it ends up going higher than he wants to. I don't think he's actually trying to hit that high. So, well, of course he's not trying to hit that high, but yeah. So yeah, great opportunity there, but misses. And then again, it's kind of like an open game, and Vinny does really well, but sometimes with Vinny, it's like I see him get tackled, and I wonder if he dove, even though I think like yeah, like I think some of these fouls, man, like this guy just goes looking for it. So yeah, I think some of these players would hate me if I was ever a referee, just because I would just tell them like just grow up, just get up and grow up. It's just come on, just play the game. Um, but yeah, in the 80th minute, that's the challenge that it was worth a straight red, and the guy kind of knew too. He knew like Cisse or Cis, yeah, he knew. He didn't really react to it, and I don't know if he intentionally did that or it was just an awkward body movement for him, so he ends up catching him. But it was one of those where it's like just oh my yeah, yeah, watching it again, there's no way he doesn't do that. It was on Ceballos, yeah. There's no way he doesn't try that intentionally like that. That actually looked like he did that purposefully. Yeah, Ceballos gets a really nice hit. After that, it nearly went in. Nearly went in, but it's still 1-1, right? Like it's still 1-1. Those guys they're in it. yeah, they're still in it. Um, yeah, just drama, man, just drama. Like I wish Real Madrid was like that. They were like talented, but just tough. Like I wish they were just tough players. But I'm sorry, but they're like divas. I mean, maybe all I don't know. Maybe professional soccer players are a lot of divas, and I just don't see it because I'm not like in the ins and outs of their lives. But some players on the field, man, they look like they act like divas. Like they act like I think prima donnas is like the word, but it's just I don't know, man. Like sometimes it's like let's just not do that. You know, you have a family, like you got people that you represent, and so I don't know. Um. So yeah, and then yeah, they get their final chance at the very end of the game on Rodrigo gets an opportunity and but he shoots it right at the keeper, which I mean I don't know if I don't remember if Rodrigo started the game or not, but I think at that point fatigue is a factor, but he also slips as he hits the shot. I'm pretty sure he's trying to go top right. I'm sure he's trying to go top right, but yeah, he mishits it. But again, very open game. Like Real Madrid is very open. Like they are very open on defense, and you feel like you always have an opportunity playing against them. I mean, of course they have top talent, so um, in some ways you might feel outmatched, but you get your opportunities. And yeah, the penalty. I mean, it was an obvious penalty, but the poor guy, he missed kicks, right? He misses the ball and he hits Brian Diaz in the stomach. Like it is a penalty. Obviously, maybe not obvious to everybody, but penalties and fouls aren't judged on always judged on intentionality or not. Like right, like you could. I mean, the guy he didn't intentionally kick him in the stomach, but yeah, it's just it's tough because his left foot kicks the ball away from him, and then so he misses and which to be fair, and I think his teammates they were laughing at him, but yeah, to be fair, they don't give up that goal, the game is probably ending in a draw. Yeah, it's probably ending in a draw. So, um, yeah, fair play to them. They got unlucky at the end. They had some silly fouls. Don't get me wrong. Even having the red card, that was just a lack of discipline, in my opinion. You're not like you can't take a guy out like that. I mean, that's kind of reckless, and I don't know. Maybe he'd be fined by La Liga too. I don't know how La Liga does that stuff, but yeah, there's probably a good argument for him to be fined as well because he could have really hurt that guy. But yeah, Real Madrid get extra chance. There's a lot of extra time left in the game, but yeah, I mean at this stage, you kind of feel like yeah, game's kind of over. Again, there's late game antic stuff that happens, and they get a second red card. I mean, if you're the coach watching that, you've got to you know there's got to be some frustration as a coach because it's like, hey guys, what are you doing? It's just a bad look, and look, if their coach is telling them to play that way, then it's like okay, let's have a word with the coach. But if the players are playing that way, it's like you know you're you're making things look tough on your coach and on your team and the organization. So and then Mbappe just holds it for the last one and it's game. Yeah, they that very much could have been a much closer game for them. It didn't have to end that way, but they did make some terrible mistakes. You can hear my son in the background. Yeah, they made some terrible mistakes, and it eventually it cost them. Right. My player of the match was Mbappe. I mean, I just think he's just there's yeah he's just good. He's like probably the best number nine in the world right now. Yeah, he's my son's having a he is having a blast. That's what it sounds like. But yeah, Real Madrid. I know league standings. They're kind of going toe to toe with Barcelona right now. They have great form in the last 5 games in La Liga. 5 out of 5. They're 1 point behind Barca, and their next game they're playing Valencia. Yeah, unfortunately for them, they lost to Benfica in the Champions League. So now they gotta go through the playoffs. So that's unfortunate for them. But again, I mean, unfortunate, but Benfica deserved to win that game. So that's just tough for Real Madrid. That they put that kind of thing on them. That's that's just on them. But yeah, stats wise, they dominate the entire game. To be honest, I mean, shots on target, possession, passes, pass accuracy, fouls. They had less. Yeah, I mean, less 7 yellow cards for Rayo. I mean, it's like every guy gets one. I mean, almost the whole team gets a yellow card. And then you get 2 red cards on top of that. That's just not how you're gonna win a game. And they didn't win that game. So yeah, it could have been a draw, but they did enough to lose themselves that game. So yeah, that's unfortunate for them. All right, last game that we'll talk through, and then we'll end the stream for now. And who knows? Maybe I'll be back on later today with a special guest. Who knows? But yeah, we'll look at the last game, my favorite game. I didn't get to see the entire game. I was going to church, so I didn't get to see the entire game. But it was of course the Man United game and versus Fulham, right? I'm a big Man United fan. Maybe I need to get a scarf to put that back there too. I think over time, we'll spiffing things a little bit, right? This is my first day. I have a makeshift background here, but I think in the future we'll have something better to go. But yeah, I mean this game, look, going into it, I'm a Man U fan, right? So I'm excited, and I look forward to any Manchester United game. But and let's see, I got a text here. I got a text. 4 o'clock. Yeah, I have to end the stream really soon. 4:01. So let's run through this really quickly. Yeah, coming off the big win, obviously for Man United against City and Arsenal. It's just, you know, I was sad. Not sad. I was more disappointed when they let Ruben Amorim go. I think it was inevitable. I think it was inevitable that there was going to be a split. Just because I just don't think the players wanted to play his style, and he wasn't going to change his style, which, like I don't fault either side in some ways. Well, yeah, I don't fault Amorim for not wanting to change his style, and I can understand from the players' side for not wanting to do it, which is crazy to me. But I guess when you're professionals and you're making that kind of money, you have a lot more power, right? So I think those guys have a lot of power to influence, even a club like Manchester United like that. So, yeah, that was an unfortunate situation. But, hey, kudos to Carrick coming in. 3 big wins, the first two massive, like behemoths of wins against City and Arsenal. And, I mean, both games, it was like, they went into, they controlled that game. It was like, not controlled it, but you never felt like they were out of it for sure. And you never felt like they were just taking a back seat. I think that's the most accurate way for me to describe it. You never felt like they were taking a back seat to anybody in those games, which, yeah, kudos to them. I thought that was amazing. They played really well in both those games. But Dorgu gets hurt at the end of the Arsenal game with a hamstring. I think he's out for like 10 weeks. Hamstrings are tough. I mean, I had a hamstring injury last year in 2025, and I think I was out for like 3 months. It's just, yeah, it's one of those that, depending on the grade of it can be brutal. So, all the best to him. Hopefully he bounces back really soon and comes back and does what he was doing. But, yeah, the new manager bounce is definitely on full display there for United, right? But yeah, going into the game, I was interested to see what they were gonna do with Dorgu being out. But I think some people would have guessed, Cunha coming in on the left, and then I thought maybe Shesko would get a start, but he doesn't. Man, my throat itches. Mm. But yeah, so he doesn't get the start. Mbumo, Brandon Boom. Man, my throat is itching. Maybe I'm gonna get sick. Yeah, yeah. The miss has been sick, so maybe I'm catching whatever she's at. Yeah, but nothing's. I think everything remained the same. Yeah, the 4-2-3-1. I love how they've been playing. It's like, man, I'm having a hard time. um, a lot of triangle passes for United. But going into the game, I think I've been really impressed with. Let me add this into the chat. Wow, I might have to end this sooner. Um, Going into the game, I was really looking at. I've been really impressed with what's his name, with Mainu. I think he's just been amazing ever since he's been given the shot to be back in the lineup. He's just been playing really, really, really well. And during the game, I mean, he made some really great plays, and his stamina amazing. He's a fighter. He's a workhorse. Cunha, of course, coming in and having scored the beautiful goal at Arsenal, so that was nice. Lemens just consistent. When United gets scored on, Lemens isn't really making like a lot of mistakes necessarily. They're not like keeper errors. I mean, when he gets beat, they're pretty spectacular goals that he gets scored on. So, but Sheshko also, I like him as a young player. I think he's got a great future. So I really wanted to see him do well. I've been wanting to see him do well. So yeah, those are the players. I was looking at them coming into the game. Yeah, and so yeah, let's just talk about that game, right? Let's talk about my game of the week. You know, I think yeah, United would have come into this game with all the confidence, especially playing at the Theatre of Dreams. That's my fake English accent. Yeah, I mean, I hope one day I get to visit Old Trafford, and well, I guess by that time maybe it's gonna be the new Trafford. I'm getting signals that I have to end this stream soon, but I guess yeah, it'll be New Trafford by the time. I've never been to that side of the world, so maybe yeah, maybe one day I have the opportunity to go out there. But yeah, no, they yeah, I think it's just the environment. It's so lively. So you get to let's see here. Yeah, I mean Ahmad, he's also really good. I mean the guy is he's a special talent as well. United to be fair, United has a really really good squad, right? They have a really really good squad. I mean, they have really really good players and good talent, and I mean right now it's easy for me to say that because they've been winning, but I think they do have really good talent, and it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes for them. But I mean that ball from Lissandro Martinez to Brandon Bumo in like the first 10 minutes, it was a peach of a ball. I thought Mbumo was I thought maybe he was offsides, but I guess he wasn't. But Lamens at that first save, and this is what I mean. Like those aren't like they're not cheap saves that he's making. It's like the guy he's special. He's very very special. Yeah, yeah. So then the next thing that happens is the potential penalty to Cunha, but that gets turned away. But Casemiro, in the moment they turned away the penalty, and I thought if they're giving the free kick that close, look, watch Man U end up scoring on it, and that's exactly what happened. Casemiro over the top, scoring the goal. Um, he's gonna be gone at the end of the season, but it's he's been great for Man United. I mean, the guy is he's just a professional. He's consistent. I think that's what it is. He's one of the oldest players on the in the starting line, if not the oldest in the starting lineup, right? I think he is, but so consistent. I mean, sure. I mean, he gets beat because he's just an older guy and his legs aren't as fresh as they used to be, but no, he plays so well, so well. Um, but yeah, no. I thought United was in control of the game for the most part, and I was kind of surprised when it was 2-2. But yeah, I thought you know, yeah, I thought they were. But that pass from Manu to Bruno Fernandez, I can't wait for them to connect on things like that because I think it's interesting because the moment I saw it, I thought, wow, this is what Bruno Fernandez used to be. Like he used to be the guy that would make those type of passes to try to get it to the guys in the. But now we have Manu doing it, and Bruno Fernandez is at the receiving end, and I think it's only a matter of time till those guys they just like really start clicking. It's unfortunate that I, I don't know. I don't think we're in a title race, but um, I think maybe the best we can, at least right now, we could probably be hoping for is probably second. I think that's even stretching it, but um, yeah. Nonetheless, it's um, yeah. I think yeah, and we'll see what happens with Bruno Fernandez at the end of the season, right? Like I'd want him to stay because I think him playing at the 10 is amazing. And that save by Lamens on that free kick again. It's like late reaction. He sees the ball at the very end. The guy is just so good. He's just so good. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Bruno at the end of the season. I mean, with this whole team, I think him playing the 10, honestly, but he's getting older. But I don't. We'll see. We'll see. And then, second half, Cunha gets the beautiful goal. I mean, the way he slides that ball in there, it's just amazing. It was just amazing, and he's got his little celebration. I think that's like a new celebration for him. I like it. I like it. It's clean. I like a good clean celebration, right? Yeah, I'm all for it. So, yeah, it was just a beautiful goal. I mean, second, he might have. I think he scored against City too. I have to check. I think he scored against Man City. So that would have been 3 goals in 3 matches for him. No, let me see. I think he scored against City. Oh no, he didn't. Okay, no, he didn't. Um, but yeah, two goals in 3 games for him. So he's definitely on a bit of a hot streak right now. Um, but yeah, this I thought Man U was completely in control of the game. I was very surprised when I learned that they tied the game up, and so I missed most of this. I was at church, so I missed like the second half. So I had to watch the rest of the highlights when I got back home. Um, but yeah, I mean, even the first goal that they scored, you can't blame Lamens on that. Like you can blame a lot of people, you just can't blame Lamens on that. So that's what I mean. Like the goals that we let up are just like they're never really like on him. Like I mean, he's just not Sheshko. Yeah, Sheshko with. I love Sheshko. I love he comes in 75th minute for Ugarte. I guess did Ugarte get hurt? Because he didn't start the game. So oh no, I guess they both came in at the same time. Okay. Yeah, that I wish he scored that header. It was a really nice header, and I think that's where he can really make the difference, for United. So I thought that was really good by him. But yeah, unfortunate he doesn't get the goal there. But again, Lamens coming out making the save on Jimenez's shot. I think this yeah like even on that penalty, right? Lamens comes out, makes an amazing save, and Harry Maguire fouls. Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those, with more time and trust between those two. Like Maguire might trust Lamens to clean that up right there, right? Like he might trust him to be the sweeper keeper, and not make that challenge there. I think that's one of those that just comes with time. But you know, I think Maguire tried. He was trying to defend, and it was unfortunate. And even the penalty was perfect because Lamens goes the right way. He goes the right way, and he says, fair play to Raul, and I love seeing that. Lamens I love the guy. I think he's got great character. Yeah, I think he's just a guy. He's obviously great talent, but also he comes across like he has great character, and obviously a young guy. So yeah, that I love to see that. I love to see guys with great character. So oh yeah, so that first goal was waved off. That's right, I forgot that. So really, it was the penalty, and then this guy who I don't even know who he is just hits a worldie. I mean, like it's one of the. I mean, it's just again to Lamens's credit and not fault of him. It's like that's the type of goal that's gonna beat him, right? Like that's just that kind of goal. You only score that like every 20 shots, or whatever. Like it's just like that's a really really tough shot to hit, and fair play to that guy because he hits it pretty well. And so, yeah, no, fair play to him. Yeah, just an amazing goal, and yeah, I always want a clean sheet for my keepers, but that's God, I don't know, that's just tough to beat. That's just tough to beat. And that last goal, I mean, Bruno Fernandes is just it was just beautiful. And the fact that it was at Old Trafford and Shesko scores it, I'm like, let's go. Right? Like I love that he scores it. I love that it's him that scores it. I'm a big fan of the guy. I think he's he's gonna be one of the best number nines in the Prem. That's just my view of it. I think we'll have to pay him a lot of money to keep him there because I think his services will be warranted once he figures things out at United. I think he'll be a really really hot commodity in the transfer market and for teams across Europe. So I just love that he scored that, man. Yeah. Again, I'm big when it comes to new coaches doing well, but also new players and especially young players. I want to see them thrive. I'm not like a negative person in that sense. I like to see other people succeed. Yeah, she's sneezing a lot. I like to see other people succeed. So I love that goal for him, and him coming in and scoring that game winner. Like that's gotta give him crazy confidence because he's a young guy. I mean, the guy is 6'5", and you might look at him and think like he's not so young, but the dude he's like 20, 21 years old. So I'm just so happy for him to be able to do that on that stage. That's got to mean a lot for him, and I hope it really brings him to next level and helps him to do really well. So, all right, that'll be it for this stream today. I'm gonna post some clips on. I'm gonna try TikTok and YouTube. I have some clips up there, so hopefully we can have more people join us the next time. I'll do this again next Monday. Probably do 3 matches again. I think I have enough energy to do 3 matches, and then I potentially would do a review, a match reaction on Saturday, which I don't know what that's gonna look like yet because if I do Saturday, then it might affect the Monday one. But I don't know yet. But some of the games I'm looking forward to. I'll definitely be live again next Monday. But I'll be live tomorrow as well. I'll break down some news that's going around the top flight, around the world in football. So some of the games I'm looking forward to. I'm an AC Milan fan. That's who I grew up being a fan because that was my dad's team. So AC Milan. Oh, they actually Oh, I missed the game. They played today actually. So I guess they're still playing now. But Man U Tottenham on Saturday. I can't. I'm looking forward to that. I want to see Chelsea will play. I think again I'm rooting for their young coach and their new coach. I want him to do well. Arsenal, obviously they're top of the league, so I kind of want to see what they do. And then Man City versus Liverpool. I think that's going to be the big game of the week. Obviously, that's also on Super Bowl Sunday. So, yeah, so that would be nice. So they play at 3, and then I think the Super Bowl starts at 6. I'm a Patriots fan, so I'm definitely going to be watching. It's gonna be a good week. There's so many good games going on this weekend. So, yeah, until later. Yeah, it's been great being with y'all, and I look forward to the next reaction, the next match's reaction. Well, it's been good, and this is football. Wow, I don't even gift of football. I don't even. I just made the name, so yeah, gift of football. It's been. Let's enjoy the beautiful gift of football this weekend, and I'll be back with you next week. All right, cheers.